Steve in Clearwater, Florida, listening to WWNF. You are on the air, Steve.
Hey, man. Thanks, as always, for a great show. I can only hope for the day when you have as many rabid followers as Flush Limbaugh, right?
We'll see.
Yeah, man. But my comment is a little different take on immigration. And it's not really sour grapes, although it'll sound like it. A few years ago, I walked into Canada, literally, walked across the border near Vancouver, and tried to stay in Canada. I was working there. I was paying taxes. I was buying property. But I hadn't gone through their legal immigration process. And when they caught me, they told me I have 2 weeks to get out of their country, or else they would never allow me back in at all. And I hired an immigration lawyer and spent $9,000. And because I was too old and didn't speak French and hadn't gone to a Canadian university, they said that on merit, they said that they mostly allow people in if they want those people's skills, if those people can bring money and jobs into their country. And they turned me away. And you know what? I left. And I didn't complain that I was being discriminated against or that I should have the right to stay even though I was undocumented. Right. And I think that a lot of the reason people oppose amnesties and other things is not racism. It's that America already is like a sinking lifeboat, and we want people who can come here and contribute to the country, and we want to choose who gets to come here so that they follow the legal immigration process. I think people don't like it, like the Canadians didn't, when people walk into your country and try and stay.
I totally agree with you, Steve. And I've in my own personal life experience, as I told Richard, I lived and worked for a year in Germany, and I had to get a work permit to do that, and I had to get a living permit because I was there for more than 60 days. I had to get a permit to live in the country, and I had to get a permit to work in the country, and I had to use those to open a checking account. I had to use those to get a German driver's license. I had to use those to enroll my children in the German public schools, and to use the national healthcare system. And on it goes. I went to Australia with Neil Walsh and Marianne Williamson. We did a tour of 5 cities in Australia, and we were getting paid speaking fees. And the Australians consider a speaking fee work. And so I had to go through. I spent 2 months jumping through hoops with the country of Australia to get a permit to come to Australia to speak. I mean, once I had told them that I was being paid to come there, they were like, "We're not going to let you get on the airplane. We're going to flag your record." I mean, every other country in the world, or at least every other developed country in the world, does control their immigration so that they can intelligently have immigration. I mean, most countries want immigration. They can intelligently have immigration and have some control over it. And we have not in large part because Reagan and the Republicans in the 80s were so rabid about breaking the unions, about busting the unions. And I think it's wrong. That said, we've had 34 years of Reaganomics, of Reagan policies in this country, and you've got a lot of people who came to this country for the very best of reasons. They came to this country. I mean, there's some who came for the worst of reasons. We need to find them, arrest them, and throw them out. Who came here to peddle drugs or commit crimes. But the vast majority of people who came here looking for economic opportunity, which is the kind of immigrants you want. And we need to do something with them, and we need to close that door. We need to say, okay, or not close the door. We need to regulate the door. We need to take control of the door. So I'm not sure, Steve. You said you think I'm going to disagree with you. What of what I've said contradicts your experience?
Well, I'm sitting here just in the affirmative of what you're saying, and I'll back you up and say, in Clearwater, Florida, all of the hardest jobs, the dishwashers, the bus boys, the people who clean the hotels, the people who build the hotels, it's Hispanic people who are mostly undocumented. They work their tails off, and they work harder than most Americans do. So I'm not against them either. It's a sad situation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And if they had legal status, at least they'd be making minimum wage. And if that happens, and a lot of them are making half a minimum wage, and if that happens, then the wages of everybody goes up.
Yeah.
because you no longer
Really
have an
bring it on
underground.
this. And as always, you're a wiser man than I am, and I really love your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for the call. Very, very, very nice to hear from you.